Oh yeah, we should start making some progress now. Looking at the schematic for the main power amp, this thing actually has three full wave diode bridges in it. We got this one here coming off the standby transformer. Then we have this one, which I believe is your main rectifier. And there's another one up here. Now I haven't actually traced them, so I don't know which is the main and which is like, I don't know, a plus and minus 15 volt. Well, actually, it looks like plus and minus 15 volt might be this one, because it's got plus and minus 15 volt already. Yeah, it is. Because the 7815 and the 7915 are connected right to it. Alright, we're getting somewhere now. Remember to shut my fan off this time. But it is now about a week later. We're back with the Sherwood. So I could not test any of the regulators because I was too lazy to. So I threw everything back together, put the transformer back in it, and I put one of my 500 milliamp fuses in place of the 5 amp, and I got it into the good old ghetto bulb tester with the long ass piece of wood that needs cut. But I'm going to flip that on and try turning this on, see if that fuse still blows. Actually, I'll probably do that now. So this should do nothing. I'm gonna keep the camera on the unit, but all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach over and I'm gonna turn the switch on. This is kind of dark again. Built-in light. Okay. So bulb tester is on, but I am not getting the standby light. Well, that was an abrupt stop because my palm decided to hit the stop record button. But I was looking in the wrong place. The standby light's actually here, and if I can shut the light off, I honestly can't tell if that's on or that's just light shining through it. But it does look like it's on. But if that is, good Jesus, that's dim, because I can barely see that in person. And we turn the ghetto built-in light back on. Right, so I'm going to try to have the unit and the bulb both in the shot. You can see here's the power button. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Whoa, fuck. What the fuck ever. I hit the power button and stopped it from doing that. Well, I don't actually know what to say about that. That was kind of comical, though. I forgot to say that is actually a 100-watt light bulb. So, you know, this thing has drawn some serious current to make a 100-watt bulb fully light like that. Yeah, that's not normal. Alright, so I hopped on to Audio Karma here. I've been on this site for a while. I've been chatting with the people on here. I posted the service manual scans, and Pete Hall, shout out to you, man, said to unplug CN302 and try powering on again. Now, CN302 is this guy. And he went right there. So I've got it in the bulb tester. We do have standby light. So now, I'm just going to try and turn it on. Oh man, look at that! Oh, look at that! Ah! Aww. Fuck. Oh, shut off. I shut it off the second time. I like that. Alright, it's the next day. I decided to put the power transformer block back on because the reason I took that off is done, so that can go back on. And if you remember way back in the beginning of this video, the RCA jacks in the front were punched in, so I popped the faceplate off, which was surprisingly simple. I just had to undo a handful of ribbon cables. This is the RCA board. And let me move here into the better light. And I'm not exactly sure what happened to this guy. And this worried me at first because the balance pot is on the same board. So I was like, oh god, I'm gonna have to hack some kind of wire to reconnect it. See, this is the lead that connected to the RCA jacks, just a ground. But this can come off, and it's staying off because I lucked out. A built-in light. The balance pot has its own board, and you can just barely see its own connector right here. We're just going over to this board. I'm not sure the exact name for it. The loudness and volume board, I guess. But the this pin right here for the right signal is broke off from the trace. So I'm going to get my iron going here, and I'm just going to reconnect that trace. Matter of fact, I'm going to just resolder all three of them because if these aren't connected, there's going to be no balance control. It's kind of hard to get that on camera, but you can just see in there how it's busted clean off. So once I fix that, the balance board will be good. I'll just have to do something with the empty RCA hole. Oh, that looks better. Right when I touched my soldering iron to the right part of this jack, the pad fell off, and there was no more pad. So I just ran a jumper wire, which all this is a lead from a capacitor that I cut off when I recapped the unit. I keep all the leads I cut just for purposes like this. So there you go. I'm happy with how that came out. Alright, just like the other half of this video, it is now getting dark outside, but I got the Sherwood back together, somewhat. I got the faceplate back on, and the power transformer mounted. So what I tried to do this time was this connector that I forgot the number for. I plugged it back in, and I unplugged this connector, which goes right there in the middle. I believe that one is the surround amp, because this, I'm pretty sure that's your front, left, and right. And I think this is your back, left, and right. But what doesn't get me is, where does the 5th channel come from? Because this is a 5-channel unit. So where does the center channel get its power? But same as usual, I got it into the ghetto bulb tester. It's plugged in. We have standby light. Well, I tried to cover the built-in light, but that didn't really work. So, well, we're going to try to power it on again. Power button. That's new. Oh, and it shuts back off again. We got the initial bright light as the caps charge. That's normal, but then it shuts off again. I'm not getting the second relay click from the speakers, because I'm pretty sure this unit has that. I mean, there are 2 relays back there. Let's try turning it on again. Let's watch the display. And then it shuts off. It's not come up on video, but I can hear the relay disengage. I wonder if bypassing the bulb and running full power will let it stay on, because something is shutting it back off. But there's not a short because it powers on, and the bulb doesn't stay lit. Well, alrighty then, I guess I'm going to pull the outputs again, because I pulled all these outputs when I got this thing, and they all tested good, but it's not impossible that one of them have failed since I've got it. Unlikely, but not possible, or not impossible. So I've got my tester clamped to the first transistor here. What I like about this unit is the transistors, well, the outputs are not through hole. You see, they just go right on pads, so that makes them ridiculously easy to pull them. So I've got my tester here on this professional piece of cardboard, and I've got her clamped to the first transistor. It's just clicky our button here. The auto brightness do its thing. I don't believe that's normal. Here, I'm going to test the function of this camera to take a photo while it's recording, so I can post this and show Pete. This is testing as a resistor. I don't think that's normal. Yeah, so I think this one may... Open? No? Well, I'm going to move to the next transistor, and I'm going to record each transistor this time. Next transistor is connected. It's tricky to push that. Yo, I'm not buying that every one of these transistors are testing as a resistor. No, bro, I'm not buying that. Okay, yep, you know, we're going to go get a known good transistor. Got here. Let's just grab some KSA 992s and a batch of diodes. Fuck. I got too many cables over here, man. Alright, give me a sec. Okay. An actual diode works. A KSA 992. Well, I guess all these outputs are not right then. Why are they testing as... I've never seen a transistor test as a resistor. Well, I guess I better test those two. Well, that one's good. Last one. Alright. So these two test good, but I'm going to test these first two again and see if they still check as resistors. Still a resistor. Next one. Still a resistor. Yeah, so something's not right with those two. So after finding out the output pair for the center channel, these two are fried. I started moving farther back in the circuit. I pulled the emitter resistors. They tested fine, but the drivers are probably nothing but a blob on the inside of them. Here they are. They're the TO92L package, and you test them, and all leads are dead shorted together. Something happened to them. Although generally TO92 is too low power of a package to be pairing with TO3P outputs. But because it's the center channel in the rear, they don't have the kick the front ones do. Because notice the front drivers are the TO127 package, which are one of my favorites. Now, I also tested these Zener diodes down on the board. They're 27 volt Zeners, I believe, for the differential of the front amp. Even though they look like they've been unhappy, they still test fine. I'll probably replace them with some 1 watts anyway, because I believe the factory ones in there now are just a half watt. And as you can see, they got quite hot. So yeah, I got the drivers pulled, obviously. So now I'm going to try to power on the unit. I'm going to have this whole board dead. We have this power connector disconnected, and we have this small 2-pin disconnected, CNT 109. And we go back over here. Pete says T109 appears to be for the fault protection circuit. Pulling this will disable protect for the center channel and the rear amplifier. But that should make no difference if that's disconnected. But one thing is the input is also on this board, along with the tuner board and the Dolby board. So if that's disconnected, this unit's going to do nothing but just light up. But that shouldn't stop it from powering on. I see no reason why it would. And before I pull my bulb tester out, All the outputs in this are B688 and D718. What are the odds I have a car amplifier that uses those exact same outputs for all of it? Look at here. Different manufacturer because they look differently, but B688 and D718. All of them. There's enough of those transistors to redo this entire amp and still have one pair of them left. This is why I don't throw away things. This will be coming in handy. One of these outputs will be pulled here when I'm ready to reassemble the center channel. Right, I got the bulb tester in. I can't remember if I said or not, but the center channel outputs are now disconnected. They're not soldered to the board, so we're just gonna turn that on. Let's see here. Do we have standby light? Yep. All right. Let's see if we get sparks. It's on. Stay on. Fuck. Right, I got an idea. It's still connected. Disconnected. Well, let's just disconnect our main amplifier here. Alright, that didn't do nothing. Alright, plan B. I removed this from the bulb tester. You see the socket's open, and I have this going straight to the wall. I put the Dolby and the tuner cards back in, yet both of the amplifiers do not have their power cords connected. So, to be honest, that's only a 500 milliamp fuse in place of the 5 amp, and it wouldn't surprise me if it blows just because the inrush current of those caps now they're running at full voltage. Well, just in case the fuse does blow, I'm gonna put the camera back here to catch it. Oh, she didn't blow. We got screen. I don't even know at this point, man. Nope, plug that big one back in. Case of fuse. Yep. RIP in peace, 500 milliamp fuse. What? The fuse just blew and there's a relay click. Right, so things just got a little bit more complicated. So remember when I pulled out the drivers here, and they're completely shorted. They're nothing but a blob inside. Those are not actually the drivers. So I don't know what these were, but looking at the schematic here for the center channel, these are our outputs. They're fucking blown sky high, and these are our drivers. And that's what I thought I had pulled, but the model numbers don't match what I have here. So I flipped this up here. I got a fancy new light bulb that has a 500K or 5000K color temp instead of the 2700s. That should make my videos look a little bit better. But I decided I'm going to see if this is even the center channel to begin with. So I pulled out the rear cover and looked and found this connector. These two top ones are the center channel. Stuck a multimeter probe in it. We turn my meter on, and let's see if I can. Okay, that might work. If I touch this pad, let me make sure I don't block the light. We touch this pad, you see, we get 1.3 ohms. Same as if we go and touch this pad, we get the same reading. Now, if we touch the center pad, which is actually the negative voltage, we get nothing. And we touch the, I believe this is the positive voltage pin, we get nothing there either. V, yeah. So this middle one's positive voltage, and yep, the middle one's the negative voltage. So what we actually did here is, those are not the drivers. What I see here is, if we look, we can see this is the one I've pulled. Its middle pin is connected to the negative voltage supply, and this pin goes off to, well, let's see, if this is your V in negative, this is your output, so this would be the input lead. I don't believe that's a differential. Say if we go, whoops, over here, the middle pin of the one I pulled here goes down through some jumpers and connects to the positive supply. So I'm not exactly sure where I'm at. It is the next day, and if you remember in the last clip, or yesterday, we were looking at these little devices we pulled that I couldn't tell what they were. Well, these are the drivers. Now, what I did when I was looking, and I said, this one's, I believe the base is connected to the V, this is the V minus, I believe. Let me check. They're marked on the board. Yeah, this one goes to the B minus, then this one through a jumper taps into the B plus. The reason they did that is because these are the drivers, and they're simply just getting supply voltage from the main outputs. That's all. Now I was looking, this pad here I think is the emitter. I'm not too sure. We follow the trace. There's a 220 ohm resistor in a film cap in a parallel, and then it goes to the emitter of the other driver. Now if we look in the schematic, we see that same 220 ohm resistor in that cap. So what this means is the service manual is wrong. It's right as in the layout, but the drivers have the wrong model number. That's all. And when I was looking at this, what made me snap and realize those are the drivers is I was looking here, and I was like, okay, I'm going to look for some transistors that have a 220 picofarad capacitor attached to them. So we bring this around. You can see where I pulled the transistor. There's a cap, and there's one. And on the top of them, they say 221. So that means 22 with 10, 220 picofarad. Simple as that. So these are our drivers. And because they're this low power package, I'm going to say the center channel is maybe 25 watts. Now, I still have one more part I should test, but I'm not going to test it tonight because I'm really tired. And that is this transistor. I don't know what it is, what it's for, or if that's even the correct model for it. But I figure tomorrow I'll look through it and see if I can find that transistor. If not, then I'll just start tracing out pads so I can find it. But I think we're finally starting to make some progress here.